Hi everyone, welcome back to the garden. As you can probably tell from the state of my face, it's a warm one here today. We're only mid-morning, but it's going to be 22 degrees later on, which I know for you tropical people isn't that hot, but when you're actually doing something outside, it's certainly warm enough. The air is full of birdsong. It's the perfect day for relaxing in the garden. But there's no relaxing here, because today we've got something much more exciting planned. I'm going to start my cobble wall. So let me show you a little bit more. The beautiful tranquility here in the jungle garden is about to be broken because today, largely due to the fact that I've misplaced my long extension cable, today I'm mixing up some mortar in the jungle. Be very careful not to splash the huge gunner leaves. Yes, I'm going to show them off in a video yet again. This part of the garden isn't really my workshop, but today it very much is. So what I'm going to be doing is mixing up some lime mortar. I've got some hydraulic lime here. That's the 3.5 NHL, in case you're interested. You actually mix it up with a sharp sand, unlike a regular mortar. 3-to-1, a bit on the drier side. And the important thing with this mortar is you need to be careful to keep it damp as it's drying out over the next couple of weeks, which usually in our weather wouldn't be a problem. But as we've got a dry few days coming up, I'll be careful to do that. So I tried to get everything together that I need. I've got another 4 bags of that stashed away in the shed, plenty more sharp sand. Got another barrow there ready for some horticultural grit, and I'm gathering my water up over there. But let me show you the project. So another barrow there for the mortar, trying to be prepared. Because believe it or not, I've been waiting for the opportunity to have a full day of actually getting on with some cobble walling. And today is nearly that full day. Beautiful California poppies there, flowering away, doing their thing. But up here, the weeds are, we'll say, slightly less aesthetic. This is today's project, the cobble wall. And the plan is, well, let me show you just up here. Up here, wow, look at that. The actual sun is blinding. I need to turn my camera down a little bit. It's amazing, isn't it? Up here, I've got a very rough cobble wall. That one is supposed to look very rustic, fallen down, tumbled. But up this end, I want something a little bit more, we'll say professional, dare I say it, with these cobbles here. I have only got about half of them, 2/3 of them brought up this end, but there's enough to be getting on with. I've got a good selection of sizes. Graded from, as I might have shown you previously, some smaller sort of square cobble blocks there, some around sort of loaf of bread size here, and then some real beastly bits up there. This is where I'm going to start with my cobble walls. Wall 1, from there, up to where that stone is over there, coming out roughly to about here. So I have still got a load of gravel, sand to pack behind it to create a really free draining mix for some of the plants that I'll show you in a video very soon. And this side here is very much the same. Bring the wall out from there, up to past this area here, and into that stone. The next part of the project is to extend the cobbles, maybe 2 or 3 high, all the way up to there, and then again around this side here. But I don't know if that's all going to be possible today, so I'll not bite off more than I can chew. Today's plan is very much to concentrate on these 2 walls here. Now, firstly, you might be aware there's a couple of weeds down here. In fact, it is pretty much a categoric library of every weed you can grow in the UK. But I don't want to pull too many of them out because what will end up happening is a load of soil falls down. So it's going to be one of those where I need to get this wall built for 3 reasons. The first reason is so I can actually remove the weeds. The second reason is so I can actually get some more growing medium packed around this big palm's roots here and get some of the smaller filler plants in to really complete the area. And the third reason is if I don't do this in the next few weeks, the gunner will probably be too big to get barrows down here and certainly too big for a mixer. So every job like weeding has had to go on hold because today it's time for the cobble wall. So let's get the first mix in and let's get started. I then, as I'm sure you're well aware, I'm not a builder, But a few tips about using this lime mortar, which I've chosen for both the colour, the flexibility, and how well it's going to work with these stones, which are often quite soft. So, a few things. Firstly, when you're mixing the mortar, this is what I've gone for. It looks sort of like porridge. I don't know if that's exactly right. Made it a little bit damper than I wanted, but it's important to remember that you can't take away water once you've chucked in the cement mixer. So definitely start dry and then add a little bit of water at a time. Don't add too much because otherwise it's bound to go wrong. Secondly, today with that sun shining, whilst a beautiful day, is far from ideal for mixing mortar. So I'm gonna have to spray both the cobbles down, which will absorb a lot of water, and also the general area as the day goes on, which isn't ideal, but I'm going to roll with it anyway. And thirdly, when you're mixing up, whether you're using a lime mortar or a standard cement mortar, you've got to make sure you mix it by volume. Yes, bags come in 25 kilos, but that doesn't mean you mix it like that. Mix it by the shovel, and that way you're definitely going to get a better mix. Anyway, Max, it's time to get some cobbles down. So, as you might notice, we're looking at a slope here, a gradual slope. So I'm going to have to very much step the blocks up. I don't just want to follow the slope with them. I want to keep them roughly sort of horizontal. But whilst I did say I want a professional look for this, it's going to be very much we'll say a rustic wall with holes in it for planting, with bits that don't look quite perfect, something that's entirely in fitting with a sort of Cornwall, seaside, really rustic Mediterranean vibe I've got on the go here. So Max, are you ready to get started? Yes, you are. Let's get going. So, despite a couple of interruptions, after most of the day, there's been some progress made. I haven't done everything that I wanted to, but as I pass through here, let me show you where I've got to. The last of the blossom falling around me like confetti today, those birds singing away, the boys running around. It really has been a magical bit of sunshine. And just ignore the extra mess I've created today. Look here, we've got the start of some walls. So, not quite at full height, and that's for two reasons. Mainly time, but also because, as you can see over here, the walls do start leaning a little bit when they're not supported from the back. So, I think I've got to a good stage now to leave them for a few days at least, and then pack some grit behind them, horticultural grit, to really create the base of the beds behind here and also to help prop the walls up. But how do you like it? I've tried to go for the rustic look, and I think that box is very firmly ticked. I knew I wouldn't be able to finish, well, all of the cobbles today, but I maybe underestimated how much time it takes to prepare every mix, clean up after yourself, all those kind of things. But let me show you a little bit more. You can see I've not really made a dent in the mound of cobbles, so there's definitely going to be plenty left to go around those borders, and maybe some for another project as well. So as you can see, the wall is, well, it needs a little bit more fettling. I need to just brush off those joints again before they go completely hard and set, and potentially keep spraying it down, maybe covering it with hessium to really give the mortar as long a time to set as possible. But I quite like the look. It's not straight, but it was never going to be straight. That was never really the goal. And I'm actually thinking about having it fade off into the beds with maybe the odd few loose stones placed on top. We'll see how it goes, but I quite like it. What I've done is really put in the base of the wall. This is the first sort of third to half, a little bit more on that side there. But when it comes to this level here, this is when I can get a little bit more creative. Start to introduce some planting pockets, and already, even with that weedy grass there, you get an idea of what this is going to like when it's softened by some foliage. So I think with some alpine plants, with some succulents, house leeks, more of the beautiful sedums that I've got here, I think this will really look beautiful. Let me know what you think about it. Personally, I think as the mortar sets, as the colour slowly fades away, as it becomes a lot more natural, I think it'll tie in nicely with the York stone tops I've got there, which I need to actually stick on at some point. And hopefully the same sort of mellow tones will transfer across to the now greying oat sleepers, which I think are really beautiful. And those, I've made a decision, those will be going in this summer, or before this summer, so we've got time to really enjoy this area, well, this year at least. So there we go, a bit of progress in terms of hard landscaping, and something I haven't shared with you yet, the planting changes. Let's have a quick look. So in the middle, that yucca Folifera australis, which completely rotted away, that has been replaced with the beautiful little Chemops humilis compacta. A lovely little plant there, very silvery. It's going to be slow growing, so here it's not going to block out in that sunlight, but give that beautiful Mediterranean exotic centerpiece. I've started to mix in around the weeds a few plants like thyme. Yes, herbs belong in my garden. I've even got some rosemary up there as well. If you look up here, you'll see I've introduced a yucca aloefolia, which I've heard mixed things on in terms of winter hardiness, but we'll give it a go, and I hope it really does well. And over there, where the yucca rostrata came out, I have replaced it, as promised, with another yucca rostrata. And there was indeed a hole beneath it, so I think there has been some rodent damage. Something I didn't realise in my last video is this yucca here has also got quite a bit of damage to the growing point. But reaching inside, it does seem like it's still firm. There's just some of the leaves surrounding it have probably succumbed to the huge amount of moisture and cold that we've had this winter, mainly the moisture. So all in all, that's that side there. Let's look over here. The Brahea, although it's been struggling, it is now sending out new leaves, which is fantastic to see, and I'm being patient with it. Got some other small additions, a Hebe there, which was a little bit of a reduced bargain, but I'm sure it'll bounce back here. And at the back, this is the main one over here, Cordyline australis, nice and simple. I did talk about having a taller plant here between the Darcy-Lyrian and the Norina here. So at the minute, although this does look a little bit crowded, a little bit too symmetrical for my liking, the cordyline will grow upwards significantly faster. And the thinking is in 5 years or so, that cordyline will be, you know, up there, something like that. And overall, we'll have a nice little balance of heights, something that will really step the garden down from the beautiful trees up this end. But looking across here now, you can see as the camera brightens up a little bit, just how this area is starting to come together. If you can look past the weeds, then really it is amazing to see so many beautiful flowers. The red valerian, which is definitely more pink, that's a plant which I've seen in Wales, I've seen in Cornwall, and for me it really captures the feel of those holidays by the seaside, and I think it looks great next to the eucalyptus behind it. I like the way it just spills over the edges, and it is definitely going to self-seed here, which is something that I actively encourage at this part of the garden. As you can probably tell by the other California poppies which are everywhere. Rosemary, that's a low growing type, which hopefully won't get too big, but will provide a lovely scent as you brush past it walking up here. The bottle brush there, Callistemon, that one is really grown well. believe that's honey pot, beautiful yellow flowers, doesn't grow too big, and it seems very tough and hardy. The alliums now are just about to burst out. That one there might have had some interference from Harriet to help it open up, but I'm sure it'll come through all good as well. And as you can see here, the roses are growing nicely. The fritillaries have had their day now, they're fading away. The alliums are about to take their colourful crown. And over there is another honey pot, which I planted with Harriet earlier this week. I thought it'd be a nice little mirroring plant to go in there. But as we head up here, you'll see the Stipa gigantea, the Eryngium agavifolium, lovely foliage on that. The Stachys byzantia, silver carpet, low growing, very tough, very Mediterranean. And from this view here, it really is coming together. I absolutely love being at this part of the garden. At this time of year, when the sun is setting further around that way, you get those beautiful golden rays casting across the garden. It really is spectacular. And hopefully, as the weather gets warmer still, we'll have some lovely parties, family gatherings up here, and actually be able to enjoy it for the first time this year. Yes, the main patio or ground surface covering isn't down yet, and yes, I won't have clad the breeze block walls, but I want to do that when I've got the time and the budget to get the right look that I want. So anyway, I think these cobbles are a fantastic addition, and I can't wait to see just how much the garden is really visually tied together as I manage to extend them further up that way there. In reality, I think getting them down up there won't take that long. It's more when you start to have multiple courses that things take a little bit more time. But probably more than anything, I'm excited to see this border here come together. That big Jubutia there, pride of place in this border. It really is going to look absolutely majestic there. When this wall is somewhere around that level, when I've got loads more grit and sand packed in behind it, and there's all kinds of succulents, really bright colours, such as these over here, really accentuating it. Just look at the colours there. Sempervivum gold nugget there. We've got all kinds of sedums. The Euphorbia mercenites at the back there is just fading, but still providing beautiful foliage. On an evening like this, you really get a taste of what the area is going to feel like. I find it so visually rewarding now. Yes, there's still a lot of hard work to go, but after getting all this crusher down, spending a week doing all the barrowing, all the really hard graft, now the jobs are slightly more creative with slightly more instant results, and definitely a lot more botanically fulfilling when I come to planting it up. So there we go. Let me know your thoughts. The next stage is to finish off these cobbles here, get the horticultural grit in there, get the cobbles around this area here. Just a quick interlude to show you the beautiful Euphorbia Pasteuride John Phillips. The honey scent of that beauty really has been filling the whole garden today. An absolutely stunning plant. I've said it before, but I'll say it again. A beautiful evergreen plant that belongs in every exotic garden. But anyway, that's the next steps. And while I'm doing all this, I'm getting some metal frames made for those sleepers there. One going straight up this way here, 3 sleepers wide, a beautiful long bench, and one at this area here, which is going to come out just over 1 metre this way and taper down to about 400 there. So this one's definitely going to be angled sleepers, a lovely triangle there, a beautiful long straight bench there, and this area here kept for some kind of barbecue or, you know, whatever happens. So there we are, a quick look at the fire pit. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. It very much has been a quick film as I'm doing it, but I really wanted to share this area with you. And as you can probably tell, I'm excited to see it finally come together. So thanks for bearing with me. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all very soon. Bye.